Hey, what's up guys, my name is Freeze, and in this guide I will explain to you how to play AD Shyvana in the jungle. I've been a Shyvana main for several years now, so I'm pretty sure you will learn something from this guide. In this guide we are taking a look on runes and abilities, item build, strengths and weaknesses, winning conditions, jungle pathing and clearing camps, team fighting, and general tips. Alright, so without further ado, let's dive right into it. Runes and abilities. There are a few different rune setups out there you can use in AD Shyvana. The most common keystones are Conqueror or Press the Attack. While Conqueror can be considered to be a good choice for diving into the enemy backline and damaging multiple targets at once, Press the Attack is a good keystone if you look more into the 1v1 dueling type of playstyle, as it will let you deal more damage to a single target. So this is what a rune page for AD Shyvana can look like. You go for Press the Attack, Triumph, Tenacity and Coup de Grace. Now in the second tree you have basically three options. In the first one you can go for Domination. Here you take Cheap Shot and Ravenous Hunter. The second one can be to go for Inspiration. Take Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight. The third one can be to go for Resolve. Here you take Conditioning and Unflinching. Down here you can go for Attack Speed, Adaptive Force and either Armor or Magic Resist depending on the enemy team composition. Now the most common rune setup in high elo is to go for Press the Attack as a keystone and Domination in the second tree, just so you know. The skill order is pretty simple. You start with your E at level 1, go for W at level 2 and Q at level 3. Max W first, then E, then Q. Item build. The item build can be split up into core items and situational items. The core items are Stalker's Blade with Blood Razor enchantment, Frozen Mallet and Wit's End. You should choose your boots depending on the enemy team composition. If the enemies have a lot of magic damage or things like stuns, slows and snares, you should build Mercs. If the enemies have a lot of AD champions or a lot of auto attack based champions, you should build Ninja Tabby. The situational items are Guardian Angel, Blade of the Rune King, Deadman's Plate, Randuin's, Spirit Visage or Trinity Force. Which situational items to go for depends on how the game is going for you and what the enemy team comp looks like. You're getting a good level and gold lead on your enemy and the enemy team comp is pretty mixed regarding damage, maybe go for more damage like Trinity Force or Guardian Angel. Or the enemies have a lot of tanks, maybe go for Blade of the Rune King. The enemy team has a lot of AD or AP, maybe go for Deadman's Plate or Spirit Visage. As you can see, it really depends on the game, what items to go for, so just try it out for yourself. Strengths and weaknesses. Now let's take a look on what makes AD Shyvana good in the jungle. She has a very good jungle clear speed. This usually results in higher gold income and higher level compared to the enemy jungler. She's a pretty good duelist, which can catch some people off guard. She also can solo objectives like Drakes and Heralds very early on, which makes her a good map control jungler. Later on, she also brings a lot of damage with her in teamfights and can delete carries fairly easy. She's also a good tank shredder because of her E. Enemies you mark with your E take 3.75% of their max health as magic damage on hit from your auto attacks. The weakness of her is her first clear, cause you kind of rely on not getting invaded and counter jungled early on. Overall, her pre-6 is not the greatest. Gang's pre-6 can only really work if your laner brings some amount of crowd control and damage into the mix, or the enemy laner just straight up overextends without any escape tool. Winning conditions. Now, with AD Shyvana, there are a few winning conditions you want to play for each game. Here are some of them. Try to get a lot of dragons because of your passive giving you resistances based on how many dragons you took. Focus on taking a lot of objectives like Drakes, Heralds and Towers, as this will extend your gold and level lead. Farm a lot to gain a big lead on the enemy jungler in terms of levels and gold. Of course, there are more winning conditions you can play for, like playing for a specific lane, but these are the basic winning conditions that stay the same for each game. If these tips are helpful to you, then please leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel so you don't miss anything helpful in the future. Jungle pathing and clearing camps. Starting with Hunter's Talisman gives you a slightly slower but more healthy first clear and is your item of choice. Combine that with a refillable potion and a warding trinket and you're good to go. With Shyvana, you almost always start at your red buff because you don't need the mana regeneration from blue buff and benefit from the healing and damage the red buff gives you. Your first clear should be a full clear. It should look like this: red buff into Crux, into Raptors, into Wolves, into Blue, into Gromp, into Crab. Here are some tips for your first clear. Farming Krugs. Smite the big Krug and kite the little Krug until you've killed the big Krug. After you killed the big Krug, focus on getting all 3 medium Krugs really low on health and activate your W to kill all of the small Krugs as soon as they spawn. Farming Raptors. Use your E to hit as many Raptors as possible and auto-attack move down to the bot side of the camp while attacking the big Raptor. Get all of them low and run in the direction of the wolves. Use your W and E to finish them. Farming Wolves. Hit the small wolf that's close to you with an auto attack and cue the big wolf. Hit the other small wolf with an auto attack as well and focus on the big wolf after that. Farming Blue Buff and Grump. Get the blue buff down to 400 to 500 HP and attack the Grump. Run back behind the blue buff and use your E and W to hit them both. Auto attack the blue once or twice, after that focus the Grump. Smite it. If you do it right, you should be done with your first clear by 3:14 to 3:18. After you're done with your full clear, you can look for a gank, place a ward, and go base to start your second clear back at your Krugs. As for the rest of the game, you want to try to combine clearing camps with objectives you want to take or gank opportunities. If you want to learn more about pathing and jungling, then you should watch my video about 6 tips for junglers that you can check out right here after this video if you click the notification in the top right corner. Teamfighting. With AD Shyvana you want to try to get a good flank and find a nice angle for your ultimate. You can do that by standing behind a wall and ulting over it. This will allow you to go for the enemy backline and one-shot them. It can also be good to go for a different approach and try to peel for your carries. This is important if your team relies a lot on the damage of your carries. General tips. Here are some small tips for Shyvana. Use your Q as an auto attack reset to maximize your damage output in fights. You can do Drake at level 4 because of your passive giving you more damage on Drakes. You can sneak Drakes by using the plant to hop over the dragon wall. You can check bushes with your E if you aren't sure if an enemy is waiting there for you. Listen to the sound of the impact. Your Q does 2 damage to a ward, so use it to destroy wards fast. If you want to see more AD Shyvana content, then please leave a like on this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss anything in the future. This is it from me guys, may you do well in your ranked games and I will see you in the next video.